Hello friends, George here, welcome to my channel. Today a render of the Utah Teapot, the famous Utah Teapot from the year 1975, which was created by Martin Newell at the University of Utah. Martin Newell was a pioneer in 3D graphics and he needed a model to test his 3D renderer, and this Utah Teapot appears everywhere. It's a kind of hello world program for the renderers which are created since then. The Utah Teapot is rendered by my 3D engine, which I created in the year 2019 during the pandemic. And it was a dream of mine since the 80s to make a 3D renderer for an 8-bit home computer. First I realized it on the Commodore Plus 4, and then I ported it to several other 8-bit computers like the Commodore 64 or the VIC-20. You need the fully expanded machine and a cartridge called Super Expander, which expands the BASIC with graphic commands, because the standard VIC-20, the BASIC version 2, doesn't have graphic commands. On the other hand, the Commodore Plus 4 with its BASIC 3.5 has graphic commands. This is a very early version of my 3D renderer, and I run the code which is written in BASIC on the emulator VIC with a speed up of 3000%. This project is just a proof of concept. I do not try to write the fastest engine, but the engine that can render the largest models. That was my goal. Porting the 3D renderer from the Commodore Plus 4 BASIC, Commodore BASIC 3.5, to the Commodore VIC-20 Super Expander BASIC was still a challenge. I remember I struggled with the if statement, if then, else, because the Commodore Plus 4 has a if then else statement, and on the VIC-20 you only have the if then, and this statement does not behave in the same way as on the Commodore Plus 4. Another challenge was the resolution of the Super Expander. Technically you have a resolution of 160 per 160, but the Super Expander uses a logical resolution of 1024 per 1024. It's an odd resolution. You have to scale the points so that you can display a model which has the right proportions. I remember that this was a great challenge, but on the other hand, the VIC-20 is a little faster than the Plus 4. That was a positive surprise. The program loads the whole model into memory, and you can rotate, scale, and translate the model on the VIC-20 on the fly. It also implements the painters algorithm, which draws the visible faces from back to the front. In this version here, you can see that the faces are not filled. There is a bug in the program, therefore you can see that it doesn't cover up the faces which are behind in the background. The code tries to fill the faces, but because of the higher logical resolution, this part of the code doesn't work. But I didn't realize it when I made this video back then. I haven't published the code yet because of this bug, but if there is enough interest, maybe I will put it on my GitHub page. Concluding this video, what can I say? I'm really proud of this program, of this project, because it was always my dream to do 3D graphics on a 8-bit machine, initially on the Plus 4 and then porting it to other systems. It's written in BASIC at this state, but I also ported it to C, Oscar 64, which speeds up the renders very much. Oscar 64 is a cross compiler where you can write the code in C and compile it for different platforms like the C64, the VIC-20, everything that is based on the 6502 processor. And of course, C being a high level language makes programming much easier. And here is our finished render, the wonderful Utah Teapot by Martin Newell. It's beautiful. So friends, that's it for today. I wish you a nice day or evening depending on where you are, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.